Oil stocks. Demand moves oil. This week, the stockpile of oil fell 4.5 million barrels. Wow. Are we getting closer to demand? Is this the right time to buy? Let me help you pinpoint the right time to buy. So interesting, the story this week. Crude stockpile fell 4.5 million barrels. So that means the stockpile or the oversupply we had on oil moved down a little bit. Now, with that news, crude oil prices fell by more than expected last week, according to the data released on Wednesday by the Energy Information Administration, the EIA. Inventories for the week ending August 8th fell by 4.5 million barrels compared to expectations of a draw of 2.9 million barrels. The data is consistent with the Tuesday's report of the API, the American Petroleum Institute, which estimated last week's draw to be 4.4 million barrels. That's less than the 7.4 million barrel draw seen last week, but various newswires reports have suggested that the numbers could be understated. Well, I think the typing here is horrible. Actual demand from the end users in much lower as 2 million barrels of crude was shifted from strategic petroleum reserves to commercial stocks last week. So, we still have that oversupply. It's there. We're dipping into that supply. The quicker we can get through that supply and start having to get a bigger demand will drive oil prices higher. Now, here's another story. Oil rises again as supply remains subdued. All right, but $50 a barrel still feels like a stretch. You think about what's going on with the coronavirus, man. The demand is going to, I think we've changed. I don't think the demand is ever going to get to the point where it was at a long time before. If people are still going to remain home for the foreseeable future until business is fully opened up, people aren't driving. People aren't traveling. People aren't vacationing. Planes aren't flying as full. Cruise lines aren't. All of the things that drive oil prices demand are not there. Now, there is one saving grace. Major truck companies are still moving products across the globe. Well, I don't think you can drive from here to London, but across the country. Just think about that. Amazon getting orders in from across the globe, across the country. Wow, across the country to get them driven. UPS, FedEx, deliveries are up because a lot of people are ordering online. So that is a saving grace in regards to the draw on oil or petroleum products, is that the trucking companies are moving. But the other big industries that moves oil are not there. All right. So with that, let's take a look at what stocks I'm going to look at for oil. What do I have? I'm pretty much looking at WTI. All right, W&T Offshore. That is primarily what I use for tracking oil. If you look at the price and the value, it's still overvalued. Does it have good upside potential? Not yet. Is it a safe? Not yet. Is it RT is telling me it's at 0.54. WTI or oil is still in a downtrend. Now, let's go look at this. This, for me, right here in regards to oil is going to be the key proponent to know, or component to know when it's the right time to buy oil. Let's look at the 3-month graph. What's oil doing right now? Still not at 40, still right about the $40 per barrel. But look at what it's doing, still sitting in a channel of a high of $2.60 with a low of $2.18, sitting squarely in that channel, just pulling off that most recent level of $2.60. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the price of WTI to break above that level of resistance and the RT to go above the value of 1. As soon as RT goes above the value of 1, oil, in this case, which is the U.S. exploration and production, W&T Offshore, once RT goes above 1, oil will be in an uptrend. Oil will be in an uptrend because the demand is in place. So this is the stock that I'm looking to time oil, or to try to time petroleum. WTI, looking at moving averages of a 3 and 8 exponential moving average. But right now, even more so, look at the level of support and resistance. I need to see it like it did here. It broke through resistance on 721. And what did it do? Come right back below it. Come right back below it. This is a solid line of resistance thus far over the last 3 months. And let's see if it can break above that, but I definitely need RT to go above 1. All right, so that's where I stand on oil right now. It is moving sideways. It's having a hard time to go above 40 and stay above 40. And the story talks about it looks like it's going to be a stretch before it can get above 50 because the demand is not there, not yet. All right, Joey, any questions on this story for oil?
Not oil specifically, but Richard says, when do we have access to your Trending Thursday watch list?
The question is, do you have access to my Trending Thursday watch list? The answer to that is no. These are watch lists that I've created for you guys. You know something? One of these weeks, I'm going to show you how I make one of these watch lists specifically for this group. Because even though I may be looking at airline stocks, I have this in here. This is just what I'm picking. Airline stocks, but I look for specific things. I look to make sure that the stock is above $1, but I also look for average volume to be above a certain level as well. I think one of these days I'm going to show you how to make your own individual industry watch list, no matter what industry it is. I think I'm going to do that. Joey, remind me to look into setting up some time aside for that. Individual watch list, industry watch list. All right, Joey's going to help me remember that. That's a good question, but I build these watch lists, and once I show you how to do that, you're going to be able to do that for any industry you want.